To save space on your screen, the Tools panel arranges some of the tools in groups with only one tool shown for each group. The other tools in the group are hidden behind that tool. A small triangle in the lower right corner of a button is your clue that other tools are available but hidden under that tool. So, looking at these, you see here where the hand is, the little triangle. You see all of these have other tools. You can only see one tool at a time. There's several different ways that you can open those. If you go and just left click and hold down the mouse, it will show them. You can right click and it'll show them. It shows you here there's a shortcut. So if I do Shift and B, it would open up all the tools. So we're going to use the polygonal lasso tool to remove a triangular notch from the color bar so that it matches the ribbon at the top of the card. So when we go up here to, this looks like a lasso. Right now it's just on the lasso tool. So I right click and I'm going to select the polygonal lasso tool. We could Alt click on a Windows or Option click on a Mac in the tool button to cycle through the hidden tools until the polygonal lasso tool is selected. You could press Shift L, which cycles between the tools in the group. So with the lasso tool, you can draw freeform selections. The polygonal lasso tool makes it easier to draw straight edge selections of a selection border. You'll learn more about selection tools, making selections, and adjusting the selection in lesson 3. Move the pointer to the left edge of the blue colored bar that we just painted and click just to the left of the upper left area. So we're going to click right about, you see there's the corner, we're going to go right outside it, right about there, and click. And then we're going to move the cursor to the right a little more than 1/4 of an inch and click about halfway between the top and the bottom. Doesn't have to be perfect. Everybody's is going to be a little different. And we're going to click again. And we're going to go down just outside and below. Click again. Then go back up to where we started. Click again. And then hit the delete button. And when you hit the delete button, that deletes that selected area from the colored bar, creating a notch for your ribbon. And then you can choose select, deselect. I'm going to do Command D, or you could do Control D if you're on a Windows computer, and that will delete the area that we just did that. So let me ask you this. How do you cycle through the hidden tools underneath the lasso tool? Do you know? If you're on a Windows computer, you would Alt click. If you're on a Mac computer, you would Option click. Guess what? That's a quiz question. You're welcome. Now we're going to use the options bar to select the text properties and then type the name. In the tools panel, select the horizontal type tool. So right here, here's your text, and horizontal is the one that's at the top. So select that one. The buttons and the menus at the options bar now relate to the type tool. In the options bar, select a font you would like from the first pop-up menu. For this sake, I'm just using the Minion Pro Italic. You can choose a different font if you so desire, whatever floats your boat. We want to specify 32 point for the font size. Right now, that's what it is. Now, there's several different ways that you can set the size. There's a drop-down menu that has some standard ones that you could select from. You could click right there and simply type 32. And then there's a little scrubby thing right here. You can click and drag this and it resizes. And if you had already typed text, you could see a preview of what it's going to do down here. But for this case, I'm just going to type 32 point, and I know that it's set to that size. Next, let's click the Swatches tab to bring that panel forward. The Swatches tab is right here, so if you click that, that brings that panel forward. If it's not, so we want to click the triangle by the pastel colors and select any light colored swatch. I'm going to choose this pastel color. You notice that when you move the pointer over the swatches, it temporarily changes to an eyedropper. You might see that question on a quiz. It temporarily switches to an eyedropper. Position the tip of the eyedropper over the swatch you want and click to select it. The color you select appears in two places. One, it's your foreground color right here, and two, right up here, there's the color of your text. So if you ever want to know where your text color is, it's right there. Sometimes you may have a black background and your text is black, and you'll be typing and you go, something's wrong with my text, it's not working. Well, it's because the color of your text is the same color of what you're typing. So there's the color of your text there. So now click the horizontal tool once anywhere on the left side of the color bar. So click there and you see Lorem Ipsum comes up. It's selected by default, so you can immediately type over it. So I'm going to type Perazine. I want you to type your last name, whatever your last name is. It is not Perazine. So when you turn this in, it should not say Perazine and it should not say Elaine like what in my book shows. So it replaces the placeholder text. Don't worry if it's not positioned well, we're going to correct that later. In order to commit the text that we've done it, we have to click this little check box right here. Now our text is done. With the pastel yellow, it looks okay. Let's try a specific color that sets the name apart from the other ribbons text. It's easier to find if you change the swatches panel display. So up here on the swatches panel, see these little lines right here? If you click that right there, and then we're going to go to small list. Change that display to small list. And with the horizontal type, we're going to double click the text, and that selects it. And in the swatches panel, click the triangle next to the light group. So I'm going to close that and click that and light group. And select the light yellow orange. Light yellow orange. After you select a different color swatch, you can see it change in the foreground color and the options for the, so you see that it changed right here and it also changed the text up here. Click the check mark and that commits and it deselects the text. Now the text is in that orange color. I think this is a great place to, so let's do this. Let's click File. And then just click Save. Don't click Save As, and that saves where we are right now. So in case, anytime that the class period is about to be over or you're at a certain point, it's not a bad idea to click File and then Save. Now Photoshop does automatically save every so often, which we'll talk about that in future. But for now, just click File and then Save. And my mouse is acting up.